Hey guys, this is Paul with Born to Barn Customs. Today, we're going to switch things up a little bit. I'm sure most of you guys know that part of building these projects is sitting around waiting on parts. And most of you guys have already seen my mini Jeep. Well, right now, my Jeep is tore apart outside and I'm waiting on parts for it. Now, I'm not going to exactly get into that right now, but it's getting some pretty big upgrades. If you guys stick around, I'm going to drop a few clues here and there throughout this video. And in the end of it, I want you guys to guess in the comments what's going on with it. This right here is a Yamaha Timberwolf 250. I traded my Suzuki LT160 for it. The 160 had pretty bad tires. They were dry rotted. One of the rims were bent, so it shook. The shifter's rigged up. Plastics looked bad. And let's be honest, it was a little gutless. I mean, it is a kid's four-wheeler. Well, my buddy has another one just like it. It's really nice, and the engine's blown up. So he needs an engine for his four-wheeler. My four-wheeler that I just got had a wiring nightmare. Well, I'm pretty good with wiring. I didn't care to mess with it. It has good tires all the way around it. It's a little bit bigger than the four-wheeler I had. It's a 5-speed with reverse, just like the Suzuki. And the front tires are 22 inches, and they share a bolt pattern with a lot of bigger Yamaha four-wheelers, like Banshees, Warriors, and Raptors. They all share the same bolt pattern on the front. Now today, we're going to go over this thing. It's been sitting, I don't know how long. Now usually, when something is sitting, there's a reason for it. There's a reason someone quit riding it. It quit running, brakes don't work, the tire's flat. There's usually a reason they quit riding it. So we're going to do some detective work and figure out why we think this thing's been sitting. Now, the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to look at the tires. That tire has no dry rot to it. It actually looks pretty good. It don't have the deepest tread, but it's still a good tire. The front looks pretty good also. It has a little more tread depth. The other side is the same way. Now, if we go to the systems and check them, the throttle seems like it's working. That brake lever, it's got some pressure on it. Seems like that's working. And this brake squeezes in a little farther, but it's still got pressure on it. Okay. Now, another thing you can tell is that these cables are adjusted out pretty far. This one could be adjusted in some. You barely pull on that thing and it works, you know. This has been adjusted out, so it means them cables are probably stretched a little bit, but that's fine. The gas actually smells pretty fresh. That can mean two things. That can mean that it's not been sitting very long, or someone has already took the old gas out and tried to get this thing running, which I know my buddy has tinkered with it, so I'm sure he's probably put some gas in it. Now, we're going to see if the engine turns over. First, though, we're going to take these plastics off the seat. I'm going to take this gas tank off, too, and get it out of my way. Nothing's bolted on here. Now, I have a fully charged battery that I have robbed from my Jeep. It's a good enough connection, I don't know. Now, I've already messed with the wiring on this thing. It's just hanging there. I'm going to reroute it nicer. I'm just showing you guys a normal checklist that I would go through to get something running that's been sitting. So now, we got our battery hooked up. Let's try to crank it. Pull that in. It's on run. Huh. See, now if you can listen, you hear it crank over really fast. Don't sound like it has any compression. Doing my detective work, this spark plug was already out. Now what that means is somebody was sitting here checking this thing for fire. So we're going to get the spark plug sitting somewhere where it sits close to metal and it will ground itself. Now, if this thing's got fire, we should see that spark plug spark. Nothing. Now, that was my checklist that I went through. And doing that, I discovered that there was stuff unhooked. These 3 plugs are all the same. They were all switched around in the wrong place. This one goes to the regulator rectifier, and the other 2 ones go to the CDI box. And I had a ground tied in with the kill switch. Now we have spark. Alright, now it's got fire. I tried to start it with the choke and everything, it didn't start. So what I did is I put a little bit of gas in this squirt bottle, because it's hard to dump gas in the carburetor from back here. What we're going to do is spray a little bit of this in the carb, see if she fires. And if it does, it just tells us the carb's dirty. Uh-oh. Need a little more. Put a decent amount in there. Yep. Man, I like when this stuff goes smoothly. Now we have a carburetor that is removed. Alright, here, got my carburetor pulled out, put on the workbench. Alright, here I've had all my carb parts sitting here soaking. I'm going to layer these rags up and lay my parts out on them. I'm going to take and mostly dry these off, not completely. And then I got some soapy water down here. I'm going to scrub this real good with that warm soapy water. Now all my parts are sitting there cleaned with soapy water, and they soaked in the carb cleaner. After I take the air hose and blow through all the passageways on my main body here, then this carb should be nice and clean. Alright, I got the carburetor back on here. I threw a new plug in it also. No choke or anything. I'm gonna let it run for a second before I rev on it or anything. Burning oil. Burning oil for sure. Put some good gas in here. See how it sputtered like that? It's exactly why I left the old gas in. So, we can do this and know if it was the gas that was doing that to it. Now let's see if it like that race gas. As you can tell, this thing isn't quite running right. So we're going to end this video here. We got it running. That was our main goal. In the next video, we're going to tune on it and try to get it running better. So, appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, share this if you can. You guys have a good one.